I want to talk about critical minerals. The Trump White House is increasingly focused on critical minerals. And over the past months, you may have seen stories like these, from deals with Ukraine to brokering a truce between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, to using critical minerals as a bargaining chip in tariff talks with China. But what are critical minerals, and why does this White House care so much about them? Let's start with a definition. The US Geological Survey, or USGS, defines a critical mineral as a non-fuel mineral or mineral material that is essential to the economic or national security of the United States and whose supply chain is vulnerable to disruption. And that's key because that's what makes them critical. The US currently lists 50 minerals as critical, so stuff like lithium, nickel, graphite, titanium, and cobalt. And by the way, this list can change because over time, supply and demand change and technologies evolve. But this is the list as of now, which was established in 2022. There's one other thing I want to point out. People often mix up critical minerals and critical materials, but they're not the same thing. A critical mineral is a raw material. It's something you dig out of the ground. It's a naturally occurring element or mineral. A critical material can be a critical mineral, but they're also products that you make using these critical minerals. And these materials power our modern world. They're essential for industries like defense, high-tech appliances, aerospace, green energy, stuff like batteries, AI servers, missiles, wind turbines, jet engines. And as I mentioned, they have three things in common. They're vital to the economy or national security. They're hard to substitute, which makes them vulnerable to supply disruptions. And that's because they come from natural resources. So there's a limited supply. And it takes time, money, and technology to mine them. It can take 7 to 10 years or more just to get a new mine online, which means whoever controls the supply chains to these critical minerals has enormous economic power. And for the White House, there's an added incentive because the search for critical minerals could mean new jobs in key swing states. So potentially things like copper in Arizona, nickel in Minnesota, rare earths in Texas, and high-paid jobs in those states would make for good talking points in upcoming elections, right? So how's the world addressing this issue? Well, everybody's looking into them. From Canada to China, governments are trying to identify which minerals will become scarce later so they can try to secure the supply chains and manufacturing now. But where are these critical minerals today and who controls them? There's no single ranked list of top suppliers because each mineral has its own global distribution. But you can look at each mineral individually if you want and see who produces it. I'm going to put this link into my YouTube description if you want to check it out. But if you look at data from USGS and the International Energy Agency, you'll see that critical mineral production and processing are highly concentrated within a few countries. And China dominates the global supply chain from mining to refining. Australia, Chile, and DRC are key in raw mining. China's even threatened, in some cases imposed, export controls on critical minerals to gain leverage in trade and tech disputes, which helped to bring it to its current position. And it's really clear in this IEA graphic. Check this out. The orange is China, and you can see its positioning growing over the years. So now it becomes easier to see why the Trump team is moving fast, securing deals around the world on critical minerals. The US, under both the Biden and Trump administrations, made critical minerals a national priority. And the White House is doing a few things. One is a strategy US policymakers call friendshoring, which is shifting supply chains to countries that align with US interests. The US is also investing in new mines, and it's funding domestic refining and research into alternative materials to cut dependence on China. And all of this supports Trump's America First agenda by controlling resources at home, creating American jobs, taking on China, and prioritizing national security. And as we know, Trump, the deal maker, the businessman, likes to announce deals about investments. Now, with all of this together, there's a reason some people call critical minerals the 21st century oil. And like oil, there are potential impacts on our Earth, and that's something we can't forget. Activists are calling for regulations to protect the environment and the rights of the people who are indigenous to the lands where some of these minerals are mined. And those are issues that will keep coming up as the world pushes for more critical mineral production. So I hope this helps explain some of the news stories we've seen and many more we're likely to see. P.S. Here's a gratuitous panda image as your reward for sitting through this whole video. Now, as always, you can like and subscribe my videos on YouTube. That would help me keep going. Send me ideas and thoughts. Links are in my bios. Let me know what you think. DM me or drop me a comment. Thanks for watching.